Do you need a reboot on your success story? Hi, it's Melanie Benson here, host of New Era Success TV and America's leading authority on optimum performance. And you know, there is a place in all of our lives where we have locked on to a story that is not serving our greater success. This is a place where affirmations literally will not work. They can't touch it. They can't budge it. It's that place where no matter what new strategy, what technology you invest in, what mentor you've hired, none of it works. And you start to really question yourself and doubt, can I really pull this off? Can I really get myself to the next level? It's our stories. And you've probably heard the idea of stories. As a matter of fact, Tony Robbins talks about them all the time. Our stories are what we make up about life, and we tell ourselves that they're true. And we've all heard the saying that changing our thinking can change our life. We've heard that learning new things can give us the roadmap to be able to create more success, to be able to have the life we want. We could just buy the right product or have the right mentor or invest in the right learning. We're going to have this magic system or formula that's required to have it all pay off, right? Well, what if it's not that simple? What if sometimes it takes something much bigger and more impactful? Something where we literally need to reboot our system. We need to reboot the story we've been telling ourselves. You know, I think this happens all the time where we start to feel like a failure because we look around and we see people being able to achieve the things that deep down inside we want, but we're not able to get there for some reason, and we start to question our ability, and then we start to believe what the story is about ourselves. Now, here's how it works. Somewhere along the line, I don't know what it is for you, I know what it was for me, and with the clients that I've worked with, we've been able to uncover where these pivotal moments in time are, where something happens, and usually it's about love, money, or success. And we see a situation, or we're involved in a situation, something traumatic happens. And we basically make a decision. We talked about this in the episode on limiting beliefs and decisions. And then we make up a story about it. And the story is what we run around collecting evidence for our entire lives to make true. And this story is very much a part of our limiting belief. Typically, the story is designed. It's the story that we tell ourselves over and over and over again because we believe it's true. It becomes our reality. Our stories dictate the reality that we live in. And yet, the stories that we tell ourselves are all made up. It's all made up. It's all what we have crafted our own belief system to say is true. The truth is our stories are not real. They're what we've made real by practicing the strategies, the habits, the thinking patterns, the attitudes, the ideas, and creating the environments around us to keep them real. We literally have developed a life based on the story we've bought into because it was the only thing we saw was possible. And then we developed all the stuff around us to support it being real. Because if we changed our story and we created something else, we'd have to give up that story. Now, this is in a lot of ways, a really complex concept, but let's make it simple. You can change your story anytime you want, but most of us can't. Why? Because we've lived in that story for so long, we've believed it for so long, it's dictated us for so long that we don't know how to change it. And when I'm working with a client who's got one of these stories that's holding them hostage, one of the things we have to look at is what are the conditions they've created in their life. Tony Robbins calls them states. What are the conditions that we've created in our life to hold us hostage in this story? Because, you know, deep down inside of you, there is a powerful, confident, savvy, extraordinary entrepreneur or person of whatever craft you have chosen that's ready to emerge and wants to bust out and have a huge impact on the world. But it's being held hostage in this story. I was working with a woman one time, and she had a business that was traditionally an offline business, but she wanted to run it online. And her story is that it had to be done online. She didn't feel that she had the capacity to take her business into offline success in the traditional fashion. So every single suggestion I ever gave her, she rebuked it. And she didn't rebuke it, she sabotaged it. Because literally she could not believe that anything else was possible. Our stories are so powerful. That's why affirmations typically don't work here. Here's some of the types of stories I hear from people all day long. One of my favorites is, I'm never going to be able to be a success or have lots of money. And that's simply because somewhere in your life you saw that not having money or not having success was the norm for people around you. Or somebody told you over and over and over again that that's the way it was going to be. Another one is, I'm not good at relationships. When we tell ourselves that story, they permeate our business relationships, our working relationships, our intimate relationships. Imagine what would happen if you believe the story that I'm an amazing connector and I build fascinating, powerful, supportive relationships all around me. It would be a completely different ballgame. There's another story that's really popular. There's never enough time to get everything done. Now, that is a habitual concept that many of us have just fallen prey to. But for many people, believing that they don't have time is the way they've completely wired their life. They've designed every aspect of their life to make sure they don't have any time for anything that's important to them. I've heard I'm not capable. I don't believe in myself. And here's the interesting thing. When these stories are really wrung out and we get behind what the story really is about, the belief that we're not enough, we're not capable, we can't have what we want, is what's there. Oh, here's one of my favorites. I'm never going to be a good marketer, so why bother? Why should I bother learning how to market? Why should I bother trying to market myself properly? That's not my thing. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to get your word out there, get your message out there in some way, shape, or form. Every single person I've ever mentored or coached has found themselves stuck on some level because of the story they've made up about it. No affirmation strategy or fancy coaching is going to get you through that until you reboot your success story. So here's what I'd like to look at and have you really do a quick self-assessment. Do you have one of these 3 reboot requirements? First of all, if you literally feel stuck where you are right now and nothing that you're trying is working, then it's quite possible you are in a stuck story. Second, you know what to do, but you do not do it. You literally talk yourselves out of it, procrastinate it, don't make time for it, put it on the back burner, you sabotage it, whatever it is, but you know what to do. You just don't or won't really do it. Time slides away and you just never do those things. 3, you see others having it. You know you're capable of having it. You know you want it, but you can't get there. You somehow cannot create that same outcome no matter what you try, how much you implement everything they tell you to do. You literally feel like there's an invisible wall around it. So in this situation, what you need to do is you need to reboot your success strategy. And there's a lot of ways to do it. One, you can start by going through the process that I talked about with limiting beliefs a couple of episodes back. But a more powerful thing is you've got to start changing the conditions in your life. You've got to start changing the conditions and you've got to reboot from the condition that you're accepting or the conditions you're creating that literally support you staying in this old story. And you have to create a new condition that's capable of supporting the condition that you do want or the outcome you do want. So here's an example. If you are someone who you have believed all your life you're not a good marketer, or maybe you're not a good salesperson, you don't believe that you're capable of selling your products and creating a successful 6 or 7 figure business, You would want, I like to play a little game. It's like you would create a persona for the old part of you that has believed this for so long. We would go in and do the limiting belief exercise, and then we would look at, like, what's the condition you've created to keep this real? So are you not putting time and attention into it? Have you not learned how to write material properly? Have you been unwilling to hire someone to help you? What is it that's the part of you, the condition, that makes this something you can't do? And then we create the conditions of what would make it real. So you might want to hire someone or take a class or learn. Let's take another example. Let's say that you have a condition where you believe that you're not capable. That probably shows up as not having a lot of confidence. So again, we do the limiting belief exercise and then look at what is the confidence of someone who doesn't believe in themselves. What does that look like? How do you talk? How do you communicate? What do you wear? How do you present yourself to the world? How is the choice of not being confident in the story that you've created around that showing up? And I even like to name the persona. Most people in this field, they like to have fun to create the shifts. Like, if you're going to make it all serious and ew, like, why would you want to do this? Let's make it fun. Name that part of you. Give it a persona. Now, let's create the new you that is confident and powerful and has a real gusto to achieve whatever it is that you have in your mind. You know you're unstoppable. What's their name? What persona would you create for them? How would they dress? How would they show up? How would they talk? What habits and behaviors would they have that would lead them to the outcome that you say you want? This is a simple and highly effective way to start creating the success that you've always wanted. Now, when I take people through my money DNA process, one of the most important things we do is we have to get clear. What stories have you created about money and success? And what stories do you need to create? What's the reboot that you need right now to shift? Some of the stories that I hear about people who've gone through this process where money starts magically appearing, the clarity that they have after years and years and years of feeling foggy and disconnected and a lack of confidence in launching anything with their passion, having way too many projects on their plate, and all of a sudden everything's just honed in and perfectly aligned to get into execution and to start making money with the things that they're passionate about, their genius work. So what is it for you? I'd love to hear in the comments below. What do you see is the story you've been holding on to? Or what's a story you want to create? Let's find out how to shift this together. I can't wait to hear your comments. And more importantly, I can't wait to help you create a shift in your story, that reboot, and get you on track for the most extraordinary success of your lifetime. I'm Melanie Benson, host of New Era Success TV. We'll talk soon.